Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, you guys, this is from Audit LA's Substack. Kendrick Moxon, Scientology's legal Pitbull, has lost his bite. Once feared for his lawfare, Moxon is now just making noise. We're not afraid, and we're not backing down. May 10th, 2025. Disclaimer. This article contains opinion and commentary protected under the First Amendment. All statements are based on publicly available information, legal documents, personal experiences, personal opinions, and constitutionally protected political and journalistic free speech. Any criticism of individuals, institutions, or public figures is made in the interest of transparency, civic advocacy, and public accountability, and at times, irreverent humor. Everyone mentioned is innocent until proven guilty. Yes, even this guy. The Moxon File. Sorry. The Moxon File. Once upon a time, Kendrick Moxon was a legal pitbull for Scientology. He was a guy you called when your IRS-approved cult needed to look religious, but act ruthless. He would weaponize the courts or bury critics in paperwork, whether it be government agencies, journalists, private or charitable organizations. Moxon came for anyone or any entity deemed a critic or enemy. In fact, he didn't just come for them. He came hard, with subpoenas, surveillance, and strategies that made even seasoned attorneys wince. He turned Scientology into perceived perpetual victims with him as their defender savior. Kendrick Moxon has been involved with the Church of Scientology for decades. So involved, in fact, that his law firm, Moxon and Coburn, doesn't even pretend to have clients other than Scientology. He had an office at Big Blue. He was their guy. In the 1970s, he served in the Guardian's office, Scientology's intelligence agency, before it was disbanded for being too brazen, even for Scientology. Replaced by Office of Special Affairs, aka OSA. This is where he allegedly helped execute Operation Snow White, the largest infiltration of the U.S. government in history. Yes, really. The FBI raided Scientology offices and uncovered evidence of his role in submitting falsified handwriting samples to cover up church crimes. He denied knowingly doing anything wrong, of course. He escaped charges in prison time, unlike his clients, including the wife of L. Ron Hubbard. Not surprisingly, Hubbard escaped what his wife, Mary Sue Hubbard, had to endure as well: prison. A career of intimidation. Moxon wasn't just a courageous guy. He helped engineer Scientology's strategy of legal harassment against anyone they deemed a suppressive person. He also viciously sued the Cult Awareness Network in the 1990s and won a $5 million verdict, which bankrupted them. Who ended up with Can's name and phone line after the bankruptcy? Scientology. Moxon later bragged about that, calling it his proudest achievement. Seriously. He's also tried to shut down protesters through bogus restraining orders, run interference on the Lisa McPherson wrongful death case, and even paid private investigators to stalk David Miscavige's own father, SMH. That's just a glimpse of how horrible he's been. The Stacey Moxon tragedy. Not all of Moxon's story is courtroom drama. There's also heartbreak. In 2000, his 20-year-old daughter, Stacey Moxon, later known as Stacey Grove Meyer, died while working at Scientology's Golden Era Productions compound near Hemet. She fell, allegedly, into an underground electrical vault and was electrocuted by a 7,200-volt power line. It was horrifying. She had been working in landscaping. Witnesses say she removed a 230-pound manhole cover and tried to descend a ladder into the vault. Her contact with the live wire killed her instantly. OSHA later cited the facility for electrical code violations. Though not directly tied to her death, but still fined the church. The facility was reportedly using improper wiring and exposed electrical lines all over the place. It was kind of workplace safety nightmare that should have triggered a reckoning, but Scientology is adept at avoiding those. I don't wish that loss on any parent. I never want to lose sight of anyone's humanity. Moxon rarely speaks publicly about his daughter's death, but behind the scenes, he doubled down. He didn't leave Scientology. He dug in deeper. Why? How? And what makes Stacey's death even more chilling is that the electrical negligence doesn't appear to be a thing of the past. I personally witnessed multiple unsafe electrical setups at Scientology's Big Blue in East Hollywood. During the holiday, I saw numerous extension cords running between buildings, lying directly on the ground. Another time, cords were left uncovered and stretched across open walkways without properly weighted covering. This was for a bouncy house setup, a tripping hazard by any standard. But the worst was when I saw a cord junction box right up against a soaking wet ground with a running sprinkler. Children were playing in the water on soaked ground just inches from the connection box. I didn't see any real supervision to ensure their safety, because they're, adults in small bodies. I raised the alarm, but instead of thanking me for looking out for the children, their security guard named Ted got upset with me for pointing it out. This is the same culture that let Stacey die. And the city recently cited them for the electric cord violation. The pattern isn't theoretical. It's still happening. Exhibit A, fear tactics, failures, and floundering. Now Moxon is reduced to whining to the city attorney about protesters and activists. Spoiler alert. He and his one and only client, Scientology, are losing. Also, I just had a thought. Wouldn't it be considered conflict of interest since Moxon is actually a Scientologist and being the lawyer for Scientology? Just wondering. In recent months, Moxon has resorted to bizarre tactics, like firing off petty complaints to the city attorney's office and name-dropping activists in emails with veiled implications. One of those activists? Me. Email from Kendrick Moxon to the Los Angeles City's Attorney Office. Date March 14th, 2025. Hold on. Mr. Martinez, I represent the Church of Scientology in building management services regarding the above referenced matter. Mr. Delvac forwarded to me your email attaching your administrative file. I was in communication with Gabrielle Taylor on this case, having sent her the following email on March 6th. Dear Ms. Taylor, you may recall I represent the Church of Scientology of Los Angeles. I spoke to Victor Vega, the hearing officer assigned to the above referenced case, to seek resolution of this and related matters, and he asked me to please contact you directly to do so. If you are familiar with this particular case, it concerns citations for planters placed in the edge of the street along a wide sidewalk on L. Ron Hubbard Way at the Church of Scientology camps in Hollywood. It's quite a long story involving a hate group. The most hateful cult, calling other people hate, trying to set up encampments on the campus. They're obsessed with that encampment, which I will not attempt to repeat here. The ringleader, oh, now everyone's got a ringleader, right? Of that group was I can't read it, I think it's this group was recently charged with 16 counts of criminal activity at the churches by the city. I can't get to the word, you guys. Given events and the church's endeavors to be cooperative citizens. Over the past 3 weeks, all of the planters were removed by the church, which are the subject of the appeals. At your earliest convenience, I would like to see you to seek resolution of this and the related matters. Thank you. Can you imagine the nerve of this guy? Miss Taylor responded that she was confirming via an inspection that the planters were all gone and would get back with me, but I have not heard back as yet. I believe the matter is moot, as the fines were paid and the planters subject to citation are gone. By the way, I see the exhibits you sent Mr. Delvac, an email to see you on the evening of March 6th from Audit LA, whose name is blank, 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 activist from a hate group, who has been lobbying various city departments for some months, demanding any and every possible enforcement action from each against the churches of Scientology in Hollywood. The email attached a report signed by one Tony Blank and was apparently retained by an attorney Blank, as indicated in my email last week to Miss Taylor. The planters were removed over a several-week period. They were all gone by March 2nd or 3rd, days before May Blank. Email as observed and documented by Blank, when a conspicuously recording the entire length of the streets. I'm happy to provide a video of that, even if you wish. Can you advise of her communications with your office and her role in this matter? Can you imagine the nerve, you guys? Moxie, we see you. There's got to be some kind of laws broken just asking those questions. Can we please discuss this case at your earliest convenience, either in phone or in person? Please let me know a convenient time. The nerve. And that was dated March 14th, 2025. That's funny. This is the kind of pathetic legal maneuver we've come to expect from Moxon lately. Just enough innuendo to waste government time, not enough substance to make anyone care. For decades, Moxon was the church's go-to attack dog. If you criticize Scientology, you could expect one of two things: a creepy PI parked across from your house, or a letter from Kendrick Moxon, maybe both. He filed lawsuits, restraining orders, cease and desists, you name it. Go check out Angry Gay Pope, what he put him through. But fast forward to now, and the veneer is cracking. No, Moxon's cracking. He's trying to pull the same old tricks, paint the protest movement as a criminal mob, frame critics as a hate group. They're just questioners. Imply people are part of some vast conspiracy. It's weak. Worse, it's boring. If anything, it just makes him look desperate. He's become the legal version of a guy screaming, "Get off my lawn!" while protesters hold up public records and cite the ADA and other laws. We're learning the law, regulations, and our rights. Although in a last-ditch effort to attempt a win, Moxon seems to be kicking things up a notch, possibly playing a role in pushing the district attorney's office to file absolutely ridiculous felony hate crime charges against Scott Hochstetter, aka DOA. We're talking about things like removing a wreath the city itself ordered taken down, and damaging planters that were already cited by the city for being illegally placed and ADA non-compliant. Let's get one thing straight. Under California law, misdemeanors that happen inside the city of Los Angeles are supposed to be handled by the law, by the Los Angeles city attorney, not the district attorney. That's spelled out in Government Code 41803.5. Wait, hold on. Yeah. And reaffirmed in the LA City Charter 27-1 Charlie. But here's the kicker. Cops can't even make a misdemeanor arrest unless they personally witness the crime. See Penal Code 836 Alpha 1, or unless a private person makes the arrest or a warrant is issued. So what do they do when they want to make an arrest but don't have the legal basis? They inflate it. They take a minor, nonviolent misdemeanor and try to wobbler it up into a felony so they can hand it off to the DA, who shouldn't even be involved in basic local infractions. This trick is made possible by Penal Code 17 Bravo, which allows some crimes to be filed as either a misdemeanor or a felony, wobblers. But using that legal loophole as a weapon, especially to target activists or critics, is exactly the kind of prosecutorial misconduct that deserves public scrutiny and redress. Charging someone with a felony hate crime for removing a city order removed wreath or damaging ADA violating planters the city itself cited, that's not justice, that's theater. And worse, it's a dangerous abuse of authority designed to intimidate and silence dissent, and frankly, it reeks of manipulative interference and desperation. Moxons. The movement has evolved. Moxon hasn't. Here's the thing. The world has changed. Moxon's power came from secrecy, from operating in the shadows while Scientology steamrolled through communities with safe pointing and actual legal intimidation, fair gaming. But now, people have phones. People have YouTube channels. People know their rights. The First Amendment auditor and cop watcher movements have empowered a new generation of activists who don't scare easy. We have footage, facts, and fire, and we're everywhere. We don't back down. We hit record. We upload. Record, I mean. We hit record. We upload. The anti-Scientology movement today is a decentralized, people-driven, multimedia force It's not just old school pickets, though those still rock. It's flyering, live streaming, open records requests, city council and commission meetings, social media videos and posts, even street art. It's legal, it's strategic, and it's growing. We're informed, we bring receipts, and while Scientology is trying to boost its image with glossy billboards and cringe reality-style programming, we're showing the raw, unfiltered truth in real time. And people love it. People trust it. We are the reality show and the world is tuning in. We bring truth, humor, personality, knowledge, and most importantly, community. And that community is growing. I will leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night, wherever you are. Peace.